Test check. Mic check. Mic check. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the campus of Tusculum College, the Nice Wonder Sports Complex, and Pioneer Field for today's Southland Conference football game between the Newberry College Wolves and your Tusculum College Pioneers. The students, faculty, and staff of Tusculum College wish to welcome all players, coaches, parents, alumni, and fans of Newberry College who have made the trip from South Carolina for today's game. Fans, purchase your copy of today's Tusculum football program. Programs are on sale now at the home and visitor gates of the stadium. The cost is $1. Football programs are on sale now throughout the stadium.
Down. Don't like hiking in from the huge parking lot and weaving your way through all those aisles to get to the pharmacy department? Then check out Corley's Pharmacy on Snaps Ferry Road. You can park close to the door, and when you walk through the door, you're already in the pharmacy. Or you can use our drive-through window. Save time, save energy, save hassle.
Audio TX is working so far.
That's good. That is very good news, Nate. You can handle that.
The weather's nice.
It's hot. Just nice. It's just hot.
The weather is here. I wish you were beautiful.
On sale now are hamburgers, hot dogs, nachos, popcorn, candy, and other items, as well as ice-cold Coca-Cola products. That's the concession stands conveniently located.
Man, I don't know why I'm so sleepy all of a sudden.
Sitting there and baking in the sun.
Yeah, I got a full belly, baking in the sun.
Ladies and gentlemen, according to Tennessee state law and the NCAA, smoking is not permitted in the seating areas of Pioneer Field. Pioneer Field is also an alcohol-free facility. Restrooms are located throughout the stadium. On the home side of the stadium, they're located in the indoor, on the main stadium concourse level.
Whatever you do,
Restrooms
do
for
it
the
well.
visitor side of Pioneer
This
Field
is
are
the
located
Pioneer Scoreboard Show. And now, Ryan Staten with
It is the 19th renewal of Tusculum and Newberry in a series that is being played in 19 basic consecutive seasons. Hard to believe that the Pioneers are in their 18th season of the South Atlantic Conference today, the 19th meeting with the Newberry Wolves. We are some 36 minutes away from kickoff. We welcome you back into the Pioneer Kickoff Show. I'm joined by Joe Bird as we take a look in depth in the South Atlantic Conference. Joe, it's very evident right now that there's some good teams in the South Atlantic Conference. We're going to see one of them today in Newberry, but the Wingate Bulldogs, whether it's scheduling, whatever it may be, are out to a very good start in the league.
Yeah, last week Wingate defeated Brevard 34-7, improving to 3-0 overall, 1-0 in South Atlantic Conference. The Bulldogs are one of three teams that are off to a 1-0 start. Wingate, Catawba, and LR all 1-0 in conference play. Today is Newberry's first conference game, and Mars Hill's playing its first conference game today. Pioneers, Carson Newman, and Brevard all 0-1 in league play.
And more amazing, I think, is that Carson Newman's 1-2, the Pioneers 0-3 on the year. Carson Newman with a very large task to start the season. Humboldt State came in all the way from the West Coast, basically, to take on the Eagles. So the Bulldogs off to that very good start. And last week, it was the big showdown between Catawba and Carson Newman, at least back in the day, late 90s, early 2000s, when those two were competing for conference championships week in, or year in and year out. Today, they won't have that, but today, Joe, they are just about 5 minutes away away from kicking off, and it's always an interesting showdown when the two most tenured coaches in the South Atlantic Conference get together.
Yeah, it's Tim Clifton over at Mars Hill and Coach Ken Sparks at Carson Newman. And I'm actually not sure if that game's scheduled for a 1 p.m. kickoff, but I think they're already underway because Nathan's texting me scores. Carson Newman 21, Mars Hill 13 in the first quarter. So maybe they're so excited to play. They just said, hey, let's kick this thing off at 12:30 or something.
They are playing at Carson Newman, and lots of times they will start at 12 or 12:30. So maybe they got there in time, and Tim and Ken, they've been around doing it for a while.
Well, you know, those old guys, they have to get home and get to bed or something.
It's what they probably figured. It is always an interesting game. Obviously, Mars Hill scoring some points on the Eagles there very early. Carson Newman able to score against the Mars Hill Lions very early. They'll start at 1:30 today, and the team that knocked off Carson Newman last week is taking on the unbeaten team in the league.
Yeah, these two, Catawba, the defending conference champion, versus LR, who won several straight there leading up before Catawba got into them. This is a really key matchup today. It should be a very good game.
Elsewhere today, not real sure about what the apprentice school is all about, but Brevard will take them on, and Brevard moving down to D3. It may be one of those situations they're looking to the future and a possible team to play in the future.
I'm not exactly sure about the apprentice school. I know there is a institution named the apprentice school like in the Newport News area of Virginia that's kind of a trade school type situation. So if that is the school, that's where they come from. Making the trip over to Brevard today as Brevard making its last run through the SAC.
Limestone and LR, it ends a 4-game homestand for the Bears. We saw them last week. They're playing a whole lot better.
Yeah, they really are. And Limestone, South Atlantic Conference, is going to be looking for a new member, so Limestone could be auditioning for that role once Brevard leaves out.
No question about that. Today we've got Tusculum and Newberry, and it's always a great game. 2 years ago here, Joe, we were in the quagmire. The Wolves led 14-3. They decided to do something they hadn't done probably since Papa Warner football, and that was line up in a too-tight situation and just try to run it down the throat of the Pioneers, who rallied to win 17-14. This is a very good team. Raleigh Yeldale, we haven't seen him basically in his tenure at Newberry, but he is the reigning 2-time Offensive Player of the Week in the league. Our defense will be tested today.
Absolutely, and if the defense can hold him in check, it could be another one. Of the 18 matchups in this series, 9 of them have been decided by a touchdown or less. So Pioneer defense, if they can step up, and if the offense can finally start scoring some points, could see another tight game today, Brian.
We talk a little bit about Newberry and their attack offensively. It was a running game last year where the Wolves ran for 366 yards in the game against the Pioneers. Yeldale is more of that dangerous hybrid type of a quarterback, and he has really gotten off to a great start in passing numbers as well, as he's averaging over 300 yards passing per contest at 317. They're putting up 152 yards on the ground. They are second in the conference in total offense at 469. Pioneer defense is second in the league in total defense as they allow just 221. So that will obviously be tested. Meanwhile, the Pioneer offense, which is yet to take flight, will take on a Newberry team. Went down there last year. Alsteva Squirewell with one hand. He had a club on the other hand. Had basically a pick six last year against this team. Always a very interesting matchup, but the Pioneer offense has got to do something to get going today.
No, you're right. And then whenever, I guess we'll talk about keys to the game here
Yeah.
a little bit later, and that's going to be one of mine.
It is a Tusculum Pioneer football team in search of their first win of the season. The Newberry Wolves in search of their first conference win and their first conference game. Only one of two teams with a winning record, Newberry and Wingate. That's in depth in the South Atlantic Conference. He's Joe Bird. We'll return with our coordinator report. Nick Navarro, along with Addison Williams, will join me, and then our keys to the game still to come. That's when we return with more of the Pioneer Kickoff Show after this. This is Tusculum and Newberry on the Pioneer Sports Network.
Homeownership is the foundation of the American dream.
All right, what we got? Like,
it is a significant
6
milestone
minutes?
in your life and is an important financial.
5 minutes.
Let me add, hang on. About 7.
All right, man. I'll yell back at you.
Then call Realty
Okay.
23639-3465 and let us guide you home.
When you're heading to the game, stop into Marathon Quick Stop for a snack and grab 2 Monster 15 or 16-ounce cans for only $3. M&M, Snickers, Twix, and Milky Way king-size candy bars are 2 for $2.50. Sierra Mist 20-ounce bottles are only 79 cents each, and Coke brand 2 liters are only 99 cents each. Marathon Quick Stop, run in when you run out.
After a long hot summer comes old man winter, when Mother Nature changes from hot to cold and energy-efficient electric heat pump changes right along with it. Same goes with Tusculum in the summer, keep you warm in the winter automatically and economically. If you're a homeowner and don't have a heat pump, diesel, glacier, or fuel, your Greenville Light Power System can provide low-cost financing with no down monthly payments conveniently included in your power bill. Call your Greenville Light Power System 636-6204 for complete details.
We thank you for your support of Tusculum College Athletics and the South Atlantic Conference.
You're listening to the Pioneer Kickoff Show. Still to come, in depth in the South Atlantic Conference. The last word with Jerry Odom. And now, Brian Staten.